Sudafed.
Little cocktail action.
Some steroids.
Yep. Yeah, you got it. A steroid action. So, welcome back, 100 Proof Whitetails, Nate and Ben. We have a lovely episode here tonight. Viewer's choice. Got some good
Plus, we
questions.
got 2 comments in. I got them pulled up right here.
Some good questions and topics and comments.
So we jumping right into that, or
I think we'll give a little current events, what's going on with stuff and everything like that. Couple things, a couple of our bucks that we've been after and chasing this year have survived.
hell yeah,
At least survived the guns. They haven't necessarily survived the cars in the winter and the coyotes and
it's not much you can do
nature,
about.
but
Not much you can do about a grill of a Chevy.
yeah, but they survived the guns, so that's a very good start for sure.
Bows, guns,
Mhm.
crossbows,
Crossbows, rifles,
bow.
thermal scope.
Some of them survived me.
Yep, and some of them also survived me. But anyway, so a couple things. Me and Nate have been down here. Sorry, we've been a little late on the start. We've been talking about getting the whiteboard hooked up over here with our new barrel head. If you guys haven't seen it, check it out.
Sign.
Give a little plug to
Oh,
100 Proof.
oh, there it is.
Wow. Barrel 35 out of Rochester. Custom whiskey and wine barrel products.
Does it look like I'm holding it up?
Pretty damn close.
Not
I
bad.
like it. I like it.
It's like those pictures where people like have the mountain in between their fingers in the background. They're like holding up the little mountain. I like that. I think it's funny.
There we go, like that.
Yeah.
Leaning on it. 100 Proof. Yeah, you're all good. Just checking that quick. But yeah, dude. So we got Survivor bucks. We got new
We got some we got an events coming up.
events. We got
Repeat events actually, which I'm excited this one is happening again. I had a lot of fun at the first one.
Yep.
Met a lot of people. That's where we met Caleb.
Yep. That's who
Deer slaying, grass cutting Caleb.
He does a good job mowing my lawn.
The guy slings arrows and slings grass like you wouldn't believe it.
Yep.
Amazing.
Might cheat in the doe competition every year, but
Yeah,
yeah, digital skill.
I think that doe had a little lead poisoning in it, but it's okay. I wouldn't eat that doe, Caleb.
Yeah. But in all seriousness, yeah, we had a great time. I think we scored like 30 heads, dude. It's usually what we do about every show at Runnings. 30 heads.
Last year?
Yeah, I think we were at 30.
Yeah. We actually, I believe they scored more heads at Runnings than they did at the Syracuse Sportsman Expo.
Yep. That's why we're not doing it.
That's why Northeast Big Buck Club is not at the Syracuse Outdoors Expo.
Yep. So we're gonna be at the Runnings. That is March 15th.
The Big Buck Club and the podcast.
Yep, we'll be there talking. See if we'll pull some guys in, have them tell some hunt stories and stuff. Kind of have it rolling. Jerry's gonna stop by. If you guys have tuned in before,
Everybody's got some reloading questions with copper bullets, really any kind of caliber. Jerry's the guy.
Jerry's your man.
Jerry.
Yep. But yeah, dude, it's gonna be a good time again. I'm sure Jesse will be there. I still got his nice weight bench rack that we can bring to throw a couple heads on and stuff. So we'll have to just put some screws in it before the ending of.
Hopefully, I have my bow buck back by then.
I think so. Tell Mike to move it along a little bit.
Well, he said it was going in the next batch, and that was before deer season ended.
Mm-hmm. Because yours was one of the first forms in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he was still working on the last batch from last year's season. He said he would be able to throw it in to that batch. So,
yeah. But we can get into leagues also started this past week. We didn't talk about those.
Leagues.
I mean, definitely we're shaking off the rust. I will definitely say that. New scoring system too, so we're getting used to that.
I felt like I wasn't being as competitive though.
Well, Nora was a little bit of a distraction, and
Jake wasn't there.
Jake wasn't there to, push you. So
I mean, Jake's one that usually is running his mouth and makes you want to beat him.
yeah,
You know,
putting the pressure on you.
that's right. He gets you going,
Mm-hmm.
the competitive blood flowing.
Absolutely, absolutely. But Keith's there. Liza's shooting with us. I'm just trying to think of the folks that we've shot with before.
Which there's definitely a big improvement with Eliza's shooting just from the start
To the last
the
time.
first target
Oh,
to the
100%.
16th target.
100%.
She was hitting scores on
Knocked in a 10 or 2 as well.
towards the end. Yeah,
Yep.
she was shooting a lot better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's nice getting that warm up. I think we're going to probably do one more week at 20. Usually the first 2 weeks are at 20, and then we start doing the random draws. So,
She said she was a little nervous if we moved past 20.
bad.
That's her. Yeah, but I think we got to get her bow. We got to spend a little time with it because I think she only has a
Ish pin.
10 and 20 pin.
Yeah, a 10-ish pin. But yeah, it was cool. We met a couple folks. We met a guy that hunts right next to our lease,
Got pictures of the same bucks.
which
we
were told 2 of the bucks that we had over there survived.
Yeah.
They
Did he
made it
have
through season.
my bull buck on camera?
I don't know. We didn't get that far in the conversation. We were talking more about what deer might have made it. But it sounds like a good chunk of them got whacked over there. But when I was showing him pictures of ones, he was like, "Oh no, like a lot of good bucks got killed, but I don't know if we had like that one got killed or this one got killed." So I was like, "Oh, maybe we're a little bit, different block. Like we get with the farm, you get almost like an east side bucks and west side bucks. Some of them just kind of hold up in different areas. So, and we got a big piece of non-huntable ground kind of between us and around us. It's just all kind of mixed habitat. So there's a lot of open acreage for them. So, but there's also a lot of hunters because we got a bunch of public that butts up against us too. So, but yeah, Flyer, who I passed with the bow, he survived, and one of the 6-pointers survived. I think he could be the next Rocky. He's really, really cool. Kind of reminds me a lot of Rocky. And then Twin Towers, we don't know if he's still alive or not.
Yeah.
That big 6 with the big brows. His brows come up like almost to the top of his twos, and he's got really nice twos. So I don't know. We're calling them 2 towers, right?
I don't know.
Or something.
I was just calling brows.
Brows. That's what it was brows. I knew it was something kind of simple. Brows.
9/11. I don't know. A little
No,
morbid.
no,
we can't. I don't know
no,
if we should
yes.
that.
Bo said, "Did you just say public next to you?" Yeah, there's a little bit of public ground next to some of the spots that we hunt. So,
You say do you want to know the coordinates, Bo?
yeah, drop you a pin. That's the next giveaway is an Onyx pin drop
Onyx pin drop to our hunting property in Naples.
in Bo's backyard. But yeah, no, it is, and then but you get into some permission pieces too that are like public. That it's just everybody can hunt it. It's a revolving door of people too. So sometimes I almost would rather have public next to me than a piece like that, than a revolving door of people.
I actually had a friend whose land I used to hunt, and I haven't hunted. It's a nice piece, and I haven't hunted it in probably 2 years now, 3 maybe. And he actually contacted me, and he kind of yelled at me for not hunting his. Hey, I think he just misses me stopping and chatting with him. I got to swing in.
Sounds like we got another piece to freaking get a couple of shooters. We'll start spreading out the pressure a little bit. I mean, we kind
It's
of
more of a. I mean, we're not going to be able to do any workout.
yeah.
It's more of just
I'm gonna be curious to get some cameras on, dude.
hunts.
I was gonna sell all those old Brownings and stuff, dude, but I'm just gonna plaster them on the lease and plaster them on a couple other permission pieces that I've kind of picked up this off season already. Knocking on doors. This is the time. Little segue topic, which is a good one for this time of the year. It's a really good time to get out there and door knock on pieces, and not in your hunting clothes during season and stuff like that. And it might just start out as like shed hunting permission or turkey hunting permission. Maybe it's not deer hunting, or maybe they're big turkey hunters but not deer hunters. It's a good time to get out there and door knock and build some relationships with people. So,
hmm
but yeah, I ran into a few people talking real estate and stuff like that, and they're like, "Hey, you want to come hunt?" And I was just like, "I would love to hunt," you know.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But no, it's a good time of the year to do a lot of stuff, off season work. Also, take a step back, recharge the batteries a little bit. But I am missing it already because I know there's deer out there that I would kill that are still alive, and it's like,
Yeah.
ah,
Yeah, usually.
Jones a little bit, especially once you start seeing those survivors. It's like yes, but it's like you're super freaking predictable now. It's like
The
damn,
worst. Yeah.
but yeah, because you got
You can still go out. You just can't bring a weapon. You just sit there
the
and
camera.
you can like air shoot them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sit there with the camera. But Jesse says Naples High Fence Tour, Naples High Tour bow hunt. That's what Jesse said. Sorry,
Naples
High Tour
High
bow hunt.
Tour bow
Bow
hunt.
hunt. Down there on that public in Naples. I've seen, dude. I saw some slammers get killed out of there.
hmm
There's some good deer get killed out of there. There's some good deer get killed out all over.
Me and Jesse, a couple other guys went up to Naples public land this year.
Yep.
No luck, but
Well,
we gave it a whirl.
yep.
It's nice ground up there.
Good topic coming in from Bo. How much snow did you guys get? I got hammered, probably 24 inches. Yeah, I was gonna go show a piece of property the other day, and 44 inches.
What we got 6 to 8.
Yeah, we got maybe 6. My parents maybe got a little bit more. I would say it depends. Like if you get in drifts, like you could hit a drift pocket because of how light and fluffy it's been because of the cold temps. We got drifts that are hit pretty hard around like ag fields,
hmm
but like other than that, maybe 6. Yeah, I would say 6 to 8. Mom and dad might have 8. I would think. I was able to get out and get a couple camera cards pulled the other day before the snow set in really heavy. Was able to drive the truck out back to get them because I was like, I'm not walking. So got some cards pulled and some survivors. Like I said, that was good news.
I mean, I pulled cards. I got in the one piece
Patches.
3 solid 2-year-olds. Solid 2-year-olds.
Well, they're going to be 3-year-olds. Next year, they're going to be off
If they had
limits.
stepped out this year, I'd have had them. But
Next year, at 3-year-olds, you got to let them go.
yeah,
You got to let them to stock
I-
up those 2-year-olds.
yeah, you got to shoot the younger bucks to keep the older ones around.
Yep. To keep
No.
making more 2-year-olds.
No, but I can't believe I busted up this one. I mean, he was a pretty solid buck. I mean, he had some tall tines, it wasn't very wide, but he snapped off right at the base. He just got a nub, and then I mean, he was a 8 point. I don't know,
100-inch.
He might have gone 100 inches, and all he's got is half his main beam on the left side with his G2. And then on his right side, it's just little nubs. I don't know if he got whacked by a car or if someone really
Thought he cleaned them up.
his, his buddy.
Yep.
Well, this deer that I've been watching actually well, he survived this year. This year would be year number 2, so we'd be going into deer number 3 following this deer. And I know it's this deer because he's always an 8 point and he has a blind eye. So I've been calling him Patches. He's not. I don't know. He's probably 100, 105 inch.
It's probably 110 now.
Yeah.
I think probably 110.
I mean, he's
maybe.
no record breaker, but I think he's going to be pushing 4, 5 this coming season.
Mm-hmm. He'll be a good one to go after.
He made it. I got pictures of him on the 6th.
Yep, that good one that was with that group of does when I shot that doe during the holiday hunt, he made it. So he's looking really good. We'll see if they stay there unpressured. I mean, good chance of picking up his sheds. He's on camera every day with those does. They're living there. we got the 7 acres of outlaw
You
turnips.
shed 100 grandmas in like 3 years.
Yeah, no, it's due for a good year.
It's probably stockpiled with them over there.
Yeah, squirrels have been fucking feasting.
Feasting.
Yeah.
Festa, the squirrels have been feasting at grandma's.
Jesse says it's confusing. I know. Bo says so bummed. Went and bought new chainsaw blades and everything, ready to go try to get out and do some cutting. Just way too deep. Yeah, this time of the year, it can be tough if you got 2 feet of snow. I mean, especially. So you probably are out east of us. Well, east of us got hit pretty good, and then like west of us, Buffalo Way got pretty good off of Erie, from what I heard. And then as you go up like the Tug into like Jefferson, that's where they were talking 44 to 60 inches.
That's crazy.
But we're gonna get a little warm up this weekend. It'll probably melt it down a little bit. But a must for this time of the year, and I'll probably do a post on it. Coming up is the my little habitat sled that I built. It's just it's just one of those jet sleds that I put like a couple brackets on for like my habitat hook. I throw my chainsaw in there, my chaps, all my shit like that, water, saws, and I can pull that right out there. You don't got to carry a bunch of stuff in, or sometimes, like Bo said, you got 24 inches. You might just be going to like one little pocket to cut, and you can't get a machine back there. So you hoof it in, and then you pull it out with the sled, and it's not so bad. Throw 100 pounds of gear in it, you don't really know what's behind you.
Yeah.
So, that's my little tip, and you can make one of those little kits for I don't know. I think maybe I got $100 in it with the really nice like heavy duty jet sled with the hardware. But that turned out really good, and of course I put a bunch of stickers on it, like piece of redneck trash that I am. Gotta have your stickers on it.
Yeah, you're a stickers guy.
I am a stickers guy. Speaking of that, new stickers are on their way for 100 proof because we're out.
The same medallion. I got a few left.
You do? Well, I don't. So I was like, I think everybody's out of stickers. So I was like,
I don't have many left. Maybe like
yeah,
two,
some
three.
people are running the first
Hey,
of the year special.
I am out. I gave my last 2 to DP.
Oh, well, we got a big lot of them coming. So, um, yeah, because we got to start moving some stickers and making some dollars because our net loss just turned into a net double loss.
Jesse, you got new stickers for that room you're building out there.
Oh, is Dahmer Studio?
Dude, he's building, it is going to be a Dahmer studio. He's building a cabin in his barn. He's going to have his own like cabin in his barn with lumber,
Okay.
minus the framing, but the siding, I believe, is all, from what I understand, is all lumber from trees he cut down and milled into planks.
There you go. Some nice live edge, rough cut stuff. I can
Looks
dig it.
pretty good.
I can dig it. I mean, we dig that rough cut look, man. This was all rough cut.
I like rough cut look.
I do too. You know. Um, but yeah, no, we had a couple good times, dude, building this bar. Other than when Jake came down, Nate's like, "You finished the bar without me." I can tell because this didn't turn out as good as it should have. We measured once and tried to cut twice, and we still haven't trimmed in the rest of the boards right. It's behind the bar. You can't even see it.
She's 30.
Oh, it's sturdy. It's because it weighs this fucking plank, dude. You have to carry it down with 2 guys.
Yeah.
Remember that? Got all chopped up and rough sawn, and then I cut it with the chainsaw to shave it more and sanded it down. The bottom of this bar looks like it's all rippled and ribbed and cut, and
Looks good though.
yeah, and I left ridges in it, and then I ran like 2x4 supports underneath it to screw up into it without doing it, shellacked it. And the cool story about this bar for folks that are tuning in that might not have heard it, I actually marked the timber stand where this tree came out of in college. So that was kind of cool.
Mhm.
I might have marked the tree, probably not, but I might have marked the tree that's here at the bar. It came out of that same timber harvest of a piece of property got cut when I was in college. So that was really cool. Um, they were sitting on the deck landing. There was a handful of them that didn't make saw grade that they were just milling at the college, and they're like, "Hey," I was like, "Those come from?" Yeah, they came from that timber harvest that you guys marked. It's like, oh, sweet. I love that maple board right there. I'm gonna take
Mhm.
that. And it was slabbed. So like they cut it into a cant. So this was one of the slabs they cut off the side of it, and then I gave it to Jesse, who had a dull blade at Lumbermax at that mill, so it kind of got all rippled, and then I kind of had to finish it up and sand it down and
It turned out good
everything like
enough.
that. Yeah, it came out really good, dude. I'm super happy with it. It's got a lot of character in it, knot holes, dark graining and stuff, which is what I wanted. I want kind of that unique bar, not just like a flat looking bar top or walnut. Everybody's got a walnut bar top. I got hard maple.
Hard maple.
And kept the live edge on this side. There's live edge actually under the bar mat lip too, but that was the better live edge side, other than the one little corner piece that I never could find to glue back on.
Yeah.
But anyway, good times, dude. So we did have, because we said this was going to be a viewer show tonight. So if you guys have any topics, questions, like always, you can drop them in. But we had a couple come in before the show. Nate's got them tuned up on his phone. So we'll give the shout out to the folks that dropped in the topics.
Tyler Jensen and Don Lucas.
Donnie.
Don Lucas the third.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll start with Tyler's. He was the first one.
Yep.
It says, are winter deer trails the same deer trails that deer follow in the summer/fall?
I think it's a good topic, and like we say with a lot of stuff, it depends on food source, everything like that. But I would say it's gonna be if the food source is still consistent, but if it's not, like I did a post about this the other day over on the YouTube page. It's on the TikTok and all the other crap for social media. I'm talking about moving your cameras out of like rut spots this time of the year and moving them onto food sources, or if you're moving them toward like heavy pine cover or something like that for thermal bedding or whatever. South facing hillsides is another one that's popular this time of the year, or thick cover adjacent to it anyway. But yeah, I would say they use some of the same trails, but you get them out of those rut spots. Scrapes aren't like 1,000 picture a month or whatever like they were back in October and November. So scrapes kind of peter off a little bit. So I'm starting to pull them off scrapes as they go down. Maybe I'll put them back up on food, but like the deer will really pocket up this time of the year. So you could get somewhat of an unfair readout of like where they're using, but you can also use it to your advantage and try to figure out why they're doing that, and then replicate that and just backstep it toward deer season, especially now with like the holiday hunt and the muzzleloader season. You can really pick up on those late season desires on the pieces of property that you hunt to take advantage of them.
Yeah, see, we got the snow, Tyler. I mean, now's a good time to wherever you hunt to actually just go take a walk or drive your snowmobile or four-wheeler around if you can, and just check out where the deer are moving.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be able to see their tracks and see what they're doing. For the most part, they use the same trails. I think the trails shrink a little bit because
the spider web turn to highways.
Yeah, it's just not as open of an area, and exactly what Ben said. I think it's mainly just bed to food for the most part. I don't think there's a whole lot of exertion going on.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No, it's something that, and again, once we start getting some snow, we're not really too deep in the snow, but if you're like Tug Hill, stuff like that, where you're getting multiple feet, once the trail's there, every deer is going to use that trail because it's easy and conserving energy. So you're going to get goat pass really knocked into a lot of it.
Yeah. Get out there with your snow blower and blow some trails for these deer.
We did that in the past.
Did you really?
When we didn't, pretty much we didn't have standing grain. We also didn't have a tractor with a bucket on it either. We had a back blade. I think it was on an old Ford 8N or 9N. We put the back blade down and we would push off the top of the turnip plots, the snow, when it got deep.
Oh, to make it easier for them.
The deer could get down to the turnips, and we did that a few times because, like I said, we didn't have a bucket tractor yet at the farm, and we didn't have anything with a snowblower attachment on it either. But I think it was like an old 8 or 9 we went out a few times and took the snow off the top of the food plot so the deer could get to it easier. It's been a few years since we've had feet like that, but we started talking about knocking down more of our corn so we don't have one as much volunteer corn going into next year to compete with or kill. And we'd like to start getting some of that out there for turkeys because we've got a fair amount of turkeys that are starting to show back up this winter. That's a good food source for them to make it through, as well as the deer. And then the other thing is just when we brush hog it in the spring, it's better to have it mowed really low the best you can. That's why we're trying to mow it before we get any more snow, probably this weekend. And that way we're not popping tires on deer sheds when we're mowing the corn in the spring. That way it's already been mowed, and then we just go in there, shed hunt it with the dog, because I mean it's super hard to find sheds in corn stubble. I don't care how good you are at looking, but um, the nice thing with the corn that we had is we interseeded a lot of broadcast interseeded a lot of cereal grains into it. So we do have a lot of a nice green carpet underneath too. So we'll have some corn grain that we brush hog out and around, and then we have some green mixed in with it. So, um, yep. Oh, missed on a couple comments. Ooh, piece of candy. Bo Hunt says if you have 60 inches of snow, no, they are not the same. 100%, Bo. They're gonna go wherever that first trail goes,
Yeah.
and that's where they're all gonna go. A buddy of mine posted a picture the other day, and I'll see if I can put it up on the screen because it's the funniest, one of the funniest pictures, and just unbelievable how hard it is for these deer this time of the year in some of these heavy snowfall areas. See if I can find it. He had a picture of a deer, and all you can see is the head
See.
walking across a little food plot. It looked like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you got to be kidding me. I probably won't be able to find it in any kind of reasonable amount of time, but it was like, you got to be kidding me, dude. Like it's been, shoot, I'm thinking at least 10 years, dude, since we've had like where we are anyway, like waist deep or deeper snow. Because we get it, it melts. We get it, it melts. Like we don't get that snowpack that keeps building.
It's staying cold here.
Yeah, it's been pretty cold. I know we're gonna get 30 again this weekend though, so that's a couple things we got going. Dan Festa comments, you boys going to the New York State Expo at the fairgrounds end of the month? Nope.
No.
Not me anyway.
No. I've been there past couple years. I mean, it's fun to go and walk around.
Here, put it over here.
I really like actually going and watching the
Dock Dogs.
Dock Dogs. Yeah,
I did always like that. That was always a
they
good
got a
thing.
cool 3D thing set up in there too.
Yeah. Are they still doing that? I don't know if they're doing that this year or not, but they've done that in the past. That's pretty cool.
They got some stuff there, but for the most part, I mean, if you don't bring a couple $1,000 with you to book a hunt, I mean, what do you?
Yeah, there's a lot of good outfitters there. Like I know Rob, Eastern Canadian Outfitters. He's really cool. I've known him since he was with QDMA Canada back in the day. And I went up there for a couple days to help him film some stuff and shoot some videos and stuff for QDMA Canada and all that. So I got to hang out with Rob, and that was the first time I had poutine.
Poutine.
Yeah, poutine.
Poutine.
Yeah. He said like the dictator.
Poutine. I like poutine.
Yeah, poutine is fucking good.
That's good shit.
I love them gravy fries. Cheese curds with cheese curds on top. Yeah. Gotta have that. But yeah, no, I don't foresee going up to it. I mean, it could happen, I guess, but I don't foresee it happening. This is the first year that I will not be like on call. So, yeah, it's weird because I've gone up to that show before and got called in to plow snow and had to go back to plow snow. So, um, Bo says, fun fact about the holiday hunt, New York State DEC wildlife biologists were not involved with the creation of the holiday weekend hunting season. Insider scoop? Didn't know that. Had nothing to do with the biologist. Interesting. Cite your source. I don't know. That's
Yeah.
well again, so biologists so correct. Like biologists don't make our season dates and stuff like that. It's the legislators that do. So technically, yeah, you're right, Bo. Like our biologists don't have any say in how the seasons get changed or doe permitting gets done or any of that kind of stuff. So that's a good point, with the holiday hunt with it. But that's a unique fact. Like we talk about on the show, dude, it fits for the area that we hunt. That doesn't mean that it fits for everybody or the area that you hunt for that time of the year. If you got struggling deer numbers, you're not seeing the deer totals, or you're already taking a fair amount of deer off a piece, it might not be your fit for late season for the holiday hunt. Or it might be the time to go find a place, like the public next to us down in Naples that is full of deer that you can go hunt during the holiday season. Um, just for an example. My wife says, "I hope we get to snowshoe." Yeah, I hope I get to go cut some trees down. Holy!
Oh, yeah, did you see the Dan Festa pic? He needs some Huntworth. LOL. I need him to come cut some trees. Well, it doesn't
Dan's a
need a
man.
trade, so. Yeah, Dan, he's a pretty fit dude.
And Jesse's a freaking tree cutting fool too.
Yeah,
Jesse's really good with a saw.
Dan and Jesse are rugged guys.
Different breed.
They are a different breed. Last of their kind.
The last of the kind, the man of the men.
Good guys.
But
actually, Bo, Dan is a personal friend of mine, and he does use Huntworth.
see, Bo, that's the secret. You got to get rid of your Sitka that's no longer legal in New York
Very true.
and go to
Very true.
Huntworth.
Yeah, because you're polluting the environment with your Sitka.
I haven't seen Huntworth be polluting the environment. So,
No.
No.
Huntworth is made out of real cypresses.
And real bits of panther, so it's good.
And dirt out of the Appalachian Mountains.
Yep. And Mississippi stream water.
And Mississippi stream water. All natural.
All natural.
Huntworth.
Sponsor me.
Made with real hurricanes.
Made with real hurricanes. Yeah, jeez. Pray for all those folks, which is making it a real pain in the ass to get building supplies right now, if you've ever noticed, since those have been hitting.
And I'm wildfires, hurricanes.
And the wildfires, hurricanes. I mean, Mother Nature's taking a strike back at us from all the Sitka guys buying all their shit that's killing the environment.
All that Chinese plastic they're wearing.
Yep, you got it. But
all right, so let's get back on topic to our people that
yeah, I was just gonna say, spin it back.
So Don Lucas was the second person. Don Lucas.
His dad shot a stud this year. Biggest buck they've ever killed out of their camp. Stud.
Is he a client, friend?
Both.
Or just somebody?
Both. Client and friend.
Nice.
Yep.
Do you friend all your clients?
Most of them.
That's good. Yeah. Anyway, Donnie says, I don't know if I can call him Donnie. We'll say Donnie.
Some of them don't have Facebook. Like the Amish don't. Amish and Mennonites, most of them don't. But anyway, Donnie's topic.
My 2025 habitat plan includes creating cover. I had 2 acres marked to cut mid-story growth extensively and create bedding cover. In the last few months, the neighbor's 100 acres has undergone a substantial amount of timber harvest. Should this reduce my need or benefit from bedding cover?
So, well, I took the last question. You want to want to lead in with this one? What's your take on it, Nate? Do you think he fires the saw up, or do you think he
Well,
sits on the couch and hangs out with Bo?
hangs out with Bo on the couch.
There's too much.
It would be. I guess it'd be easier to actually like look at the whole picture,
Mm-hmm.
to actually see what he's dealing with. I guess what kind of woods, because his neighbor's property now is probably going to have a lot of undergrowth, and and I guarantee the deer are gonna be in there. Um, would he benefit from doing a little 2 acre thing from his? I would say yeah. But as long as when you're in there and you're cutting your bedding spots, or if you're thinking you're gonna cut the whole 2 acres into bedding, whatever your plan is, I would I would advise that you are taking into consideration how you're going to hunt around it. Um, if someone has a plan that they think are gonna work, I'm I'm not, unless I know for 100% that it's not gonna work. I'm not gonna tell you no, not to do it. I mean, how do you know unless you try, right? And you want to put forth the effort and the energy into doing it. I'm not gonna tell you no, but
Yep, I found it.
I think
I found his piece.
I think you will benefit from it by adding that little bit of cover onto your piece, just as long as you're thinking of how you're gonna hunt that piece with that new entity in it.
Mhm. So
How
I'm
you're gonna
thinking.
get to your spot, how you're gonna exit your spot, how you're gonna.
So if it's the 100 acres, yeah, if it's the 100 acres to the south, dude, I would definitely say, what's this piece right here? I took some of the stuff off that would jumble it up. I would say if you're concentrating that like down near, you know,
Just north.
yeah, the road comes in. It says the road's in here,
What
but
is
in
it,
reality,
private
that
drive or
yeah,
dead end road?
it's a dead end road up on. It's a glorified logging road. It actually comes here along this property line. It says it's up in here, but it's not. This kind of goes down a hill. There's a logging road that comes down through here. Couple nice, really nice benches on here, dude. Just down below that
Just
piece.
solid west wind property.
Really good west wind, really good morning property. Couple good stand locations on it for sure. Um, I think down if it's the south piece that got cut, I would say if you're definitely down around that south end, Donnie. We're looking at it. We're not going to share it on the screen, don't worry. But if we're talking on that south end of it, and the southwest side of it, um, cabin being on the east side, da da da.
That cabin.
Yep, yep. That works for your entry exit. You can drop down into it. It's steep enough where you could have the pockets.
It's set up money northwest.
It's set up really good. Northwest, southwest. I mean, it's all good because these are all a couple collections of cabins up in here. Um, one of the times I went up there, dude, there was like 6 inches of snow, and it was a little sketch getting up through there because it's basically a glorified logging road. Like right at this house is where it stops being decent, and then it kind of wrapped.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say for your question, if the habitat is a 5 out of 10 and you put a 7 out of 10 on yours, I would definitely say that because those folks all access from the bottom and push it up. So you're going to push deer closer into your cover and possibly be the better, secure cover up higher up the hill. Um, so I think that you'd be doing yourself a disservice not to hunt. I think getting some sunlight down to the forest floor is going to be huge. So taking out some mid-story stuff. I know we saw some hot hornbeam and some other understory stuff that could come out, but taking out a few of the bigger canopy trees, could definitely benefit getting some sunlight in there and then using the other stuff for cover and structure. Um, I think it's something that you should do. Pretty much every property that I've been to could use a chainsaw, in some way, shape, or form with it. Really, you know. I know that's on your, you showed me, you sent me over your to-do list this past week. We started picking that apart a little bit, and
You got a lot to do.
yeah, I got a lot to do too. Um, you know, but a couple cool projects coming up, which I want to get Dad on and kind of lean in more to that series that we had going with him last year, and actually do like multiple parts of it. Yep. Actually do multiple parts of it before season. Now instead of being like, I think the last one we were like right around corn planting time, and then we just got super busy, and I had a baby, and
Yeah, it doesn't help.
no, no, it
With
doesn't.
time.
It doesn't help. But it's nice though when your babysitter is right next to your hunting property, or like on the way to your hunting properties,
Owns your hunting
or
property.
owns the hunting property, and I can just drop it off.
50% owner of that hunting property.
Yeah, no, that's definitely super nice. Um, well, I mean, I don't know. Both times I killed though, Nora wasn't there. She had to come after the fact, but you know, all good. Um, but yeah, no, we had a good season this year, but like always, I want it to be better. I want it to be, and we were super effective this year. We were super effective on, multiple lease pieces we have, owned pieces, like my family farm, we were super successful on it.
Shot my first Wayne County deer.
Shot your first Wayne County buck,
Oh my God.
multiple Wayne County deer.
Multiple. Oh yeah, I got a doe too. That one's on video.
Is it?
The doe at the lease, yeah.
Yeah.
I got that on video. Wow.
So we have like,
My video, she was 30 yards with muzzleloader, walking right at me. And I'm trying to get the camera on her, and I'm at a weird angle, and I can't see where my camera's pointing. And I was like, well, I just got to stand up and shoot her, or it is what it is. So I did. Then I replayed the video after I shot her, and I got her head in the video. Because it wasn't just her. There was about 10 other deer. Not too far away either. Should just bow hunted.
hmm yeah, that was a, well,
Well, yeah, that is also in the works. We're gonna try getting a little intro video put together.
yeah, that's part of our discussion intro video.
We gotta get
What you were
Jesse,
seeing.
mine, and your videos from this hunting seasons prior,
hmm
and kind of collab something. And if we think we have enough decent content, maybe we'll put out a YouTube video.
Yeah, and we'll throw some of it into that 30-second intro one, maybe with some better audio than the um Pat McAfee countdown.
The Pat McAfee countdown.
Yeah, buddy. But
That
no,
must mean Pat McAfee uses StreamYard.
it could be. It's possible.
Hmm.
Possible.
Oh yeah, who's winning the Super Bowl? Anybody know?
No. I'm thinking New England because they just beat Buffalo.
I'm thinking the Bears.
I'm just kidding.
I'm thinking the Bears because they just beat my Packers.
I think the Lions are done. They're fucking too beat up. They got 26 something players on fucking injured reserve right now or something stupid. I saw the other day. From their opening day roster, they have 26 of those
Well,
players
this
on injured
is the
reserve.
problem. Like the league wants all these division games at the end of the year, and then
If
well,
that's
when
your
your teams get
division.
most beat up,
Yeah, end of the year.
just a division game.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Whether you're good or not.
yeah.
Like
Beat
the
the shit
games
out
are
of
a division game is always close.
Yeah.
So they just beat the snot out of each other at the end of the year. If you get 2 or 3 division games back to back at the end of the year, you're freaking smacked going into the playoffs.
I mean the New England Patriots, they just beat the Buffalo Bills the other weekend.
Seen that. Aaron Rodgers won a game.
Devontae Adams got plastered.
Devontae Adams got smoked on
A little flea flicker end around thing.
Rodgers and Adams thought they were doing a pitch and catch on the sideline warming up, and this guy came out of nowhere and smoked Adams.
That's funny. I said that. I was like, what?
That was, oh my God, that was terrible. You're not the Detroit Lions. Don't try trick plays.
Yeah. So
But if I had to throw a bet out there,
I think New England, or not New England. Buffalo is going to be the AFC team.
what my heart wants to see, Bills Packers.
Yeah, that'd be.
What I think we're gonna see, Ravens.
Burrs. Raven
I was
Burrs.
thinking the Rams. I think the Rams. I don't think anybody. I don't know.
So let's see. Wild card is Chargers, Texans, Steelers, Ravens,
I see Chargers move on.
and Broncos, Bills. I'm missing one. Packers, Eagles. Sorry.
I think the Packs.
Packers, Eagles, Commanders, Bucks, Vikings, Rams. That's the wild card. So
Bucks beat the Commanders. Packers beat the Eagles.
I'm going opposite of that. Commanders beat Bucks. Vikings, I think, knock off the Rams. The Pack Eagles game is going to be really good. That's Sunday.
You think Darnold's gonna do it?
Hmm. We'll do.
Bo Hunt said, "Guys, I think I made a mistake."
Uh-oh. Yeah, you tuned into an NFL podcast.
Yeah, who's there? Sorry,
We're
we got
just
a little off topic.
we both got beat in the fantasy league that we're in, so
We didn't make the playoff.
yeah, we spent too much time talking hunting and stuff. I didn't get last. I beat Caleb.
We're
Last team of the season.
Caleb didn't set his roster since like week 3.
I think week 1, dude. I think it was the same one he had all around. Yep.
Yeah, sorry about that, Bo.
Bo says, I think I messed up. Remember I talked about making an access trail right around the borders of my property? What did Keith tell you to get it surveyed and your border is not your border? I'm dealing with that right now on a real estate transaction where the title and the deed don't match, and it's been a cluster. It's not fun. So we're sorting through that.
So yeah,
Trying to keep everybody on course with it to keep everybody happy, and it's just not been fun. Well, I did it, and before we got all the snow, I went and checked on it, and the deer are using that trail, and they are visible now to my neighbors. So like we said, what deer are using now aren't necessarily what they're going to use during the fall as well. Also, when you cut these access trails in, you put a bunch of food down in their face when you cut trees down to make access trails. So of course they're going to gravitate toward it. We talked about this before on the show. I know we have, where you shut the saw off and it's almost like the deer freaking come running because they know it's like a dinner bell. They know you're dropping nice bud shoots and woody tips down to them.
yeah, they're usually there checking it out that evening or night.
Mm-hmm. So to Bo's comment here, and it's a really good topic. I wish I would have moved the trail 20 to 30 yards into the woods. So what you do, Bo, now is now that you have your perimeter established, and sometimes, like let's just say our east side of the property, we cut it down the middle to get to the perimeter of it, just because of the way it lays out.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you got to sacrifice the central to get to the outside, otherwise the hills and whatever sometimes dictate. It's not always border.
I'll tell you what you do, Bo. So I'm not sure how wide you made these access trails. I'm assuming wide enough to probably get an ATV through.
Side by side, probably, yeah.
Double it. Go through it again. And then whatever you cut down, pile up on your border. And make like a screening wall with sticks and stuff if you're that concerned about your neighbors seeing what's over there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying build a Fort Knox wall that deer can't get through, but break it up.
Yeah. So I agree for that, for the visual side of it, for sure that can be beneficial. And as well as once you've knocked in that outside access, once you've secured that access, and that's literally your letter A, that's your first thing you do is your access when you're designing the piece. After that, you can build the other trails and bedding inside of that. Where you're saying you wish they were 20, 30 yards into that, make them, 40, 50 yards into that, and then the trail bends toward your stand location, deeper into the property, and make that bedding and that stuff, more in that core of it, and then have those trails and that, kind of movement kind of funnel past those stand locations, where it's applicable, obviously, following topography, habitat, and other stuff too that might factor into that stuff. Um, that's where it just becomes, you're playing road construction. Like I tell people when we're out there cutting is, we have our access knocked in, or we know what way we're going to access it. We've picked our stand location already too. So now we just build everything around our stand location. It's just like saying, okay, we have a hotel here. We're going to put the highway right by the hotel and the restaurant and all that stuff. It goes right by, all that stuff, and you blend it together. So, um, I think you can definitely still, um, if it was wide open woods where you're cutting that access trail, absolutely. Any structure you put in there, they're going to gravitate towards. I don't know what your specific situation is. I haven't been on your piece, but um, if you got wide open woods, all you need to do is drop a few trees, and the deer are going to gravitate toward that structure and cover in that wide open woods every time.
Uh, Plant your trail to switchgrass.
If you got enough sunlight, that's a possibility.
Well, if the neighbors can see it.
It's probably wide open woods. That'd be my guess. It's most of the woods in New York. There I am, Bo. Yawning again, making you sleepy. Um, he said, thought about doing it, but if I do, it's going to create funnels where the neighbors are going to know exactly where the deer enter and exit. So, yes and no. So, what you could do with the way you design that and lay it out is make it so, um, like let's just say you're worried about them going out to a neighbor's food source, where that's where you might stick it a little bit deeper before you go cutting. That way, before they get there to dark, you might have a small little staging plot set up with that, where you hit them before they go out to the big ag in the evening. That's a possibility for that spot if you're worried about the funnel side of it. But with the what you almost start doing is what I call a merry-go-round. Is those deer just start working around that parcel, kind of interloping, like they similarly do where you shot your buck this year. They kind of come out of that one bedding area and they kind of loop. They just kind of ring a gauntlet, literally. They just kind of figure eight through the whole piece. That's kind of what you want to have is nice, good bedding pockets where once the
Oh,
pressure's on the outside,
I don't think he's really going to have an issue.
I
I
don't
mean,
think
right
so
now
either.
there's no pressure out there.
Yeah, if you cut the trail going right into your neighbors, or something, yeah, that's obvious. But
I don't really think it's going to be a problem.
I think if you have a logging road, you can knock that.
As long as you're
Yeah.
accessing on the correct winds. Because if I remember right, it sounds like Bo has
Pretty square property.
a pretty square property, but he has the thicker piece, more of like bedding and browse area compared to
Some
the
of the other stuff.
neighbors, if I remember this conversation right.
Mhm.
So if he cut it on the outside, I mean, deer are gonna be on the inside. So when you're accessing it, as long as you're playing your wind right, you shouldn't be bumping them out to your neighbors.
Yeah, Bo says it's hardwood, don't believe enough sunlight. Yeah, if it's a hardwood dominant piece, like switchgrass is gonna be like field edge and stuff.
They wouldn't worry about it because I mean, once season rolls around, I guess it depends on how hard your neighbors hunt, and are your neighbors like setting up right on your property line is a whole other thing.
I love walking past my neighbors and waving.
Yeah, if you see them out there, just walk by them. Just take the
Walk
dog,
right down your border and just
take the dog for a walk, and walk by them while they're hunting. They'll quit using that stand.
or they'll yell at you or whatever. But
They can
no.
yell at you want. You're on your property.
Yep. No, I do that, and again I've done it twofold. So I mean I've also done it, I've also, instead of having the access go all the way to like a back corner, sometimes that isn't applicable because of a hill or something like that. So other times I'll use that to my advantage, and like where the hill like overlooks onto the neighbors, that's where I'll make the bedding area. So like when they bump out of that bedding area, they come deeper into the property where the more thicker cuts are. because they're on this little side hill knob. I can't access down in there because it's a bottom bowl or whatever. And I'll cut that bedding short and I'll come in this way up around it. And then when the deer are up here on the bedding knoll overlooking the neighbor piece, they see some, stuff. Even if it doesn't bump them out of their beds, if they visually see them or hear them or whatever, they're probably not going to go down the hill toward that. Even if there is food there, they're probably going to circle like this, try to cut wind and go. So what I'll do is I'll set my stands up around the way the deer are going to use that terrain or those features to set up that stand location, kill them as they come around, and then all you do is start strategically dropping trees to make some structure and cover for them to follow, and they'll come right around through it. Um, similar to what you're doing maybe for your access trail, but that just might be because it's fresh cover and stuff like that. So, um, fresh cover and cutting, and obviously food value right now is huge. But that's why I love getting out and cutting right now is um, anything that's high value deer browse, maple, ash, uh, apple, oak, anything that's really high value deer browse right now. I love cutting it down for deer, if it fits what you're trying to do with the management on your property, even if it's just going into um, a bedding area or like a transitioning area from a bedding where you're making one of these kind of travel corridor spots toward a stand location. You could go and kind of cherry pick some of the trees, no pun intended, and decide, which better browse trees to drop. Ash trees, you might not have many living ones anymore. Um, but you know, all of them make
I think
decent browse.
I think Bo might be overthinking it. Give it a year, Bo. Try it. Give it a year.
Yeah, I would.
Give it a year.
I wouldn't be afraid to stack that trail still inside, and I would almost push it deeper. The deer trails and the heavier the heavier cutting and the heavier defining of movement deeper in than 30 yards because you still want to come off that border, come into a stand location on a key
It sounds
feature.
like it's all open hardwoods around him.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's
If
holding
he's the cover,
if he's the cover, then
some
what he's
food.
got to do
Add
is
some
get
food.
him. Well, add some food in there if you want to try keeping them on your piece. Add some food, water, whatever you need.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're just out there trying to kill them, going from cover to the neighbors to eat, then you get
Stack them deeper. Stack them deeper.
You just got to access it right and hunt it accordingly.
Yeah, stack them deeper. I mean, it's tough to give the 43,000 feet
not
view, but when you don't know what even the piece is, it's like we picked apart Donnius a little bit, and talked about that, because we
Bo's
look at.
got, from what I understand, 50, 55 acres. He's not going to hold deer on it. It's gonna
I think he can.
it's gonna draw deer, but deer aren't gonna live on that
Not
55.
365. No.
They're gonna go. They're gonna go over to the neighbors. They don't know borders. They don't know anything. I mean, they're just gonna go.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more power than people give credit for sometimes on small pieces. Because if you have like Bo has where it's higher hunting pressure and you have the best cover and the best security in town, you can stack deer in there. Um, is it going to be the numbers and maybe the quality that you want sometimes? Maybe not. It's a pyramid, when you're looking at the buck age structure, where you have a bunch of 1.5s, maybe some 2.5s,
Where I like to be.
three, right there. Sweet spot.
Sweet 2.5.
It's right in the meat of the bat.
Oh yeah.
And then the tip of it's your 3.5 or pluses, and sometimes that's 2.5 is the tip of the triangle. It depends on the pressure, but it's the older they get, the less of them they are. It's just a matter of numbers.
You also gotta where you started, where you're at, and what's your end game? What are you trying to accomplish? You trying to accomplish to hold every single deer in 250-acre block on your 50 acres, 30 acres, whatever you have.
Not gonna work.
Not gonna happen.
A lot of work.
It's not gonna happen.
Time, a lot of money.
it's
And it has to be super prime for anything like that to happen.
it's not gonna happen. I mean, the best thing you could do. It sounds like you have the cover, which is I would say number two. Number one is food. Deer will find cover around food, even if it is just a little bush to go
Yeah, and then food equals cover with thicker stuff.
browse and stuff.
Typically,
So
if it's the right stuff.
if you have a food plot, I would try and improve that. And you're not gonna have a big ag field on that unless you have more open.
It's expensive.
You're going to end up having a staging plot,
Feeding trails,
feeding trails, staging plot.
back corners.
And once again, it all comes down to you killing that deer when it's on its way out. The best way, it sounds like, I would hunt your property is that you're just hunting bedding. I mean, I would throw a couple staging plots in there, maybe do some bedding work, and just hunt it with the wind. You have your access around the whole thing. So it doesn't matter what wind you have. It sounds like you can access anywhere. But your whole goal is trying to kill them coming from the bedding. So the best thing you could do is just trying to get them to lay down on your property.
That's a majority of their day. It really is. Is on their
If you
belly.
get them to lay down on your property, you're
Mhm.
going to get them coming to and from. You just have to time it right, and you have to access it right, and you have to. So, I mean, I hunt a ton of under 100-acre pieces, and that's literally the game.
Mhm.
Especially because a lot of my pieces I can't manipulate a whole lot.
Yeah, no, and there's spots that set up naturally with very, very little to do. We're gonna probably do more on our lease and stuff this year. Um, both leases. I mean,
I
your
mean,
lease,
big fence up. If you want to keep deer in your property, put a big fence up. Buy a couple studs, turn them loose.
yeah,
High fence it.
couple high dollar Dauphins. Um, let them go. Let them eat it. Let them be to breed.
Feed them.
Feeding them. Pretty near trademark. So
No.
yeah.
So,
But yeah, those guys. Speaking of pert near boys, they killers this year, dude. They always are.
God,
They go everywhere.
how many guys they got in their crew? 20?
Yeah, they gotta go.
Every time they do like a group picture, like in their PA hunt, I'm like, was there 20 guys in that?
Mhm. Yeah, that's a big one. The
My lord.
PA stuff. PA stuff's really big. But yeah, no, it's
Glad some people like people.
yeah. Some people are actually liked by people.
Well, some people actually like people.
We just got our 5 closest family members that watch us on Wednesdays.
We got Bo, Jesse,
My mom,
Dan,
your mom,
your wife, and your mom.
and your mom once in a while.
Once in a while, my wife. She'll tune in, see how many beers I've had.
Yeah. Um, had to log in 2024, so we'll see what happens. Wish I would have did a little bit more aggressive cut, but then I can get in there and cut some more trees down and hinge and spray. Um, yeah, I would say this was just another good topic, as we're probably at the 1 hour mark. Seems like our best topics come at that 1 hour mark.
I know. We get all the BS out of the way, and then the
Yep. Um, so with the aggressive cut, you can always do some timber stand improvement and drop some trees, as long as it's, serving a purpose. If it's for winter food, you can drop for winter food. Don't have to hinge. Most of the time, a lot of guys want to hinge, but hinge is more of the cherry on top of the sundae, the peanuts on top of the sundae. Like that's not what makes your your property that sweet piece. It's kind of like the little bit of extra stuff, the little bit of fine tuning work is the hinging for the most part, and then spraying. I typically don't do a lot of spray.
what's he
Unless
spraying?
it's probably the stumps. I don't typically spray anything other than maybe beech for regen and locust. beech and locust would be the only ones I'd probably pretty much spray. The rest, stump sprouts are very beneficial, and they're not
No
really
spray.
prone to root suckering.
Don't spray.
Yeah, depending on what it is. If it's beech, yeah, you probably are going to want to spray it to keep them from
Don't
suckering. But if you want thick,
bend differ there. Don't spray.
if you want a thick ass cover, um, hack and squirt. Not a huge fan of hack and squirt. I'd rather just cut the thing off and let the deer eat the fucking stump. That's my hot take of the day.
And to say hacking.
Hack and squirt.
Hack and squirt.
So
No squirt.
yeah, don't squirt.
No squirt.
No squirt, no spray. Yeah, I typically
You want the regen.
I would rather see well, there's certain species. Locusts, pain in the fucking ass. I would stump treat them. Or hack and squirt them, you can too. Beech is another one. But if you're in a wide open hardwoods and you can safely take down a beech with beech bark, you're gonna have a fucking wall of beech in there. So if you want thick cover and it's not great browse, but it's a lot of fucking tonnage of browse, and you can go in there and manage it pretty quickly, and then you can go back in with um, a mulcher head or even a brush hog. I've seen guys do it and go into beech thickets and knock in trails. You can make some fucking killer little spots and little beech thickets that you make. Just got to make sure you don't hit your stumps that you leave. So typically I girdle them high. And
Don't
I'm
squirt.
yeah, I just girdle when I'm trying to do that for beech in a hardwoods like that. Specifically for bedding, and I know there's a lot of guys that'll probably not like this take because they're like spray the beech all of it. Sometimes if it's wide open hardwoods and it's not scheduled for another timber harvest, so I know there's going to be a lot of understory and I want to have some cover component to my woods. I will girdle beech specifically to get it to regen and fucking stump shoot because it gives some cover and some browse value to the food in there. In that wide open
Everything's
Yeah, no, I mean, there's not much on the
locusts.
woody browse.
If they don't browse on it, or if it's a pain in the ass, just because it gets bigger and thicker, it's just adding cover.
Mm-hmm.
So why would you squirt it?
Thorny motherfuckers.
Yeah, but you're not trying to walk through it.
Yeah,
The deer are, and they don't give a shit.
it just depends. Like, Liza's up there where Liza shot her doe. That's a wall of locusts, but we manage that for a wall of locusts now around that blind. Like in front of the blind there, that's like a fucking wall of locusts. Because we push locusts out when we put that blind in there in the big locust trees, and then let the little ones take off, and then we just reach out there with the pole saw and just clip them off, and it's like a fucking hedge up to the bottom of the blind. It's pretty cool. Um, yeah, didn't know a beech tree would regenerate by girdling it. We'll definitely try that to add some cover. Yeah, you can girdle beech, and this time of the year is very successful with coming out beech stumping them and getting some regen on that. Um, and most of them have beech bark or they're hollow already. That's why I don't a lot of times suggest guys drop beech. And if I get up in there this year, I'll do a video on it. There was a tree that I cut in a YouTube video probably 6, 8 years back. And I was talking about girdling beech trees, and I girdled this beech tree, and and there was a couple tree tops that came down because we took a couple ash out of there with the timber cut we did. So yeah, it was probably 8 years ago. And I was like, well, I'm coming in here and I'm girdling a couple of these beech to add a little bit more structure in there. And right in the ash top, as I turn around and I'm talking like this, a fawn jumps up out of the freaking ash top that was left behind. Like it looked like we staged it. Like it was perfect. So then flash forward, I go in there probably 2 years after that with Nate. We find Heavy up in there.
Dead.
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 R.I.P. Heavy. And that beech tree that I girdled in that video, it snapped off. Now, had I cut that traditional felling, I mean, it was a big beech tree. Had I traditionally like wedge cut that with a back cut, there was only about 2 inches of holding wood. The rest of the tree was hollow. Didn't look hollow, but the whole center was hollow.
So explain girdling. Girdling, is that just hinge cutting?
Nope. So with the girdle, you want to get in depending on the tree, some have a little bit thicker cambium layer and bark. Beech are thin barked, so you only have to go in, half to 3/4 of an inch. And what you do is some folks call it ringing, or ring cutting, girdling cut, girdle cut. There's a bunch of different ways to explain it. So what you do is you go around that tree and you cut basically a circle all the way around the outside bark in about a half to maybe an inch, depending. Like if it's a hickory with big, like flaky bark, you probably go in an inch because you got a lot of bark separation there. But beech, you can go in, half to 3/4 of an inch. And what that does is that cambium layer sends all the water and nutrients up and down the tree for growth. What it does is it dead ends that and it kills it. And with trees like beeches, it'll throw out root suckers or it'll stump sprout, from other tree species with that.
That's what I don't get. Don't you want stump sprout?
I do. But with a beech like that, because of the beech bark and the other diseases that they have, they're prone to being hollow.
Hmm.
They core rot really easily. So that's why I tell guys, like, if you have a lot of like bigger beech, meaning like 16, 18, 20-inch beech or better, most of the time if you got like beech bark and other stuff in your woods, they're going to be probably hollow. So, or if you have a really gravelly soil where they sit high, sometimes you'll get really hollow ones too. Um, it's just a lot less safe to traditionally fell them versus girdling. Girdling and girdling's a lot quicker. So I can walk around a tree and just girdle a 16-inch tree. Rather than look at it, make sure my wedge is good, maybe clean it up a little bit, back cut it, wedges if I need it. So you're looking at like a tenth of the time. So speed is your friend there for girdling. It's quick. It doesn't get the stuff down to the forest floor, so that's where you can girdle one, cut down another, and I think I did that in that video. It's hard to think back 6, 8 years or whatever. Um, but yeah, if I'm trying to kill the tree outright, I would probably, going into Bo's question here, I would probably double girdle the tree. So I cut it, go up about a foot from my cut, make another ring around it. That way, if there's any separation where I missed, where the tree could still send stuff up and down, I clip it to make sure. It's kind of like getting a double snip for a vasectomy, make sure it's actually all done. Um, so yeah, I prefer single if you're spraying it. If your goal is to just kill the tree and not get root production and you're girdling and squirting, single girdle and very shallow, just enough to take the outer bark off and then you spray it in there. Um, right now, more so than sap push in the spring, so there's different timing and stuff like that plays into it too. But that's a whole different rabbit hole to dive down. So yeah, if I'm just out there like trying to get rid of trees or kill trees, girdle. Um, another place where I girdle a lot is when I'm releasing oak trees and like apple trees, like mass trees that I don't want to damage the tree by dropping them. I'll girdle the tree that's in the center of it, and that way it dies in the top and then falls out in like branch pieces and stuff, rather than like traditional cut and it falls down and takes out like a big branch out of the tree next to it. That's another place where it's really good for a girdle. But yeah, I think that hits everybody. We got our Facebook topics hit. We got our comment section in tapped out. Bo's just got to hire us. Come out, do a consult. We're booking right now. Nate's all happy. He made the brochure this time.
I did.
Yep.
Part of the team.
Team.
I made the team.
Put me in, coach.
You do double girl or oh, you already did that one. What's the other one?
Thanks, guys.
No problem, Bo.
Anytime, dude. But yeah,
Don't like bread.
yeah, don't spray. And I'm gonna echo what Nate said, dude. I'm not worried about you cutting your border trail in, as long as the rest of your property ends up falling in with it.
I would say I think you're having a case of postseason overthinking.
Yeah, the hamster's running too many laps. It's going too quick. Just take that step back and think. Not
Go back
take a step
to
back and not think about it for a
go
second.
back, or not think about it, but go back to what your original thought was, and then run it through,
Hmm.
and then kind of stick to that. But you haven't even given it a chance,
True.
you know? Like just
Can't wait to get out there and do some more habitat work.
I agree.
Well, throw some snowshoes on my wife. She'll go out there with you. I'm bored out of my mind. I can't stand this weather.
Get a job.
Get a goddamn job. Oh.
Am I here doing all this?
No, I want
Getting
to,
my ass at work for 8 hours.
yeah, I want to get out and do some cutting too. I haven't actually fired up my saws yet, and I put them all away end of the summer with Staybill, so they should all be good. I just got to fire them up and maybe put new plugs in them
Honestly,
and a new air filter.
all
But
all the stuff I want to get done, if I had 3 days, I'd get it all done.
yeah, 3 hard days.
Yeah, three
But
full days.
I think that's another really good point for guys is instead of like kicking the can down the road a little bit, you just get out there and just start busting it out. And if you knock out half of it, and then let's just say life gets in the way for the other half of your list,
You got something done.
you got half done.
I make a list
Those-
every year, beginning of every year, about all my home projects, whether it's repainting the living room to building a barn to putting a new septic system in, whatever it is. I got my home projects that I want to accomplish for the year, and then I have my hunting projects.
Mhm.
I separate them because my wife isn't too concerned about my hunting projects getting done. So
Separation of
she does support me.
and state.
She does. She does care.
Yeah.
She wants me to be successful and everything. But I make a list, and I've been doing this ever since 2018. And beginning of every year, I make a list of what I want to accomplish, home/hobby. And some years, there's things that I roll over every year. I'll compare my lists every year, and every time I accomplish one, I cross it out. And then there's things that I don't accomplish, and I just roll that in to the next year. Be like, all right, still got to get that done.
Yep.
And then it just kind of keeps a visual mental thing in your head of everything, and it helps me keep things a little bit more in order of
Mhm.
how. There it is. That was last year. I got all my hunting projects done last year.
You got all the hunting projects done, but
Wow, there were
home-
barn projects.
yeah,
There was a couple barn projects. That was more of a money issue.
yeah,
Last
that
year.
was a capital side of it.
That was a cab. That wasn't
Yeah.
ambitious.
So the home projects rolled over,
Home project roller. I did get all my hunting goals done last
but a
year.
lot of them just end up like extensions of projects, like the V wall. Remember doing that last year? Extending the
That
boulevard.
was the start of the V wall.
Yep, the start of the V wall, the boulevard.
Boulevard is going to get extended.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Open cover between Betting Side Hill. Yeah, that's an overlooked fucking gem.
I know. I don't know how I missed that.
I don't know how I missed that. Well, it's because there's no parking down there. Like you're parking, like I think we were all looking at it from a single parking access standpoint. Now that you're looking
Which
at
I still
different-
can, but I just got to plan my hunt.
to give you an extra 20-minute walk.
An extra, yeah, at least 15.
Yeah.
A 15-minute walk around down the road and access up the trail. I mean, I could park down there, but I don't.
Little bike.
I mean, I could just throw my
Little pedal bike.
I could just throw my Huffy in the back.
You know?
I mean, I could park down there, but it's so that hillside, that road is so visible, and I feel like the deer can see if there's a truck parked by the road there.
Not next year as much.
Well, there's gonna be corn,
Yeah.
so I could park down next to that corn, and my truck would be hidden. But once the corn's off, it's just wide open.
Yep. True.
But
Sad,
that is
same thing.
that is going to be a money rut spot.
I think so.
That's
I'd like to. I'd like to.
I think that's the rust spot of the whole property.
I think it. Yeah, because of the funnel that creates now. Because of the way that the neighborhoods kind of changed a little bit from how they traditionally used it. 100%, dude. I think that's also part of it too. Is before they were using basically kind of where the boulevard extension is going to go to. They kind of always came through there because that was just not used as much. Now it's got a new owner. It's changed.
And they have young kids, and those kids are a lot more active on four-wheelers and stuff through the woods.
Oh,
So the deer and turkey pattern, actually the turkey were non-existent for a year.
yeah, now they've put up with it. They're good.
Now they're like, oh, these guys aren't gonna bother me.
Bo says podcast topic: time management for hunting and habitat work. What makes you successful?
Hard work.
Next week with the Festa.
Hard work going into work with bags under my eyes.
Yeah.
2-year-old scratches on my face.
2-year-old bucks on my mind.
Zero money in my account. That's what makes me successful.
So next week, we're going to go right into this one. We're going to put it out there now. The time management side for hunting and habitat work helps make you successful. Some of the do's and don'ts with it. And we'll get some of Jesse's take on it, because I know he had some issues this year. So maybe we could tie some of that into the conversation.
Jesse's just starting to get into some of the habitat work and trying to. He's been doing some experimenting the past couple of years, and he's had some. What do you want to call it?
Trials and errors.
Trials and errors, but he's had some things that have worked, and he's tried some things, and that didn't work, and he's trying to figure that out why it didn't work.
Sure.
So yeah, he's kind of getting into it a little more.
It'll be a good show next week with Jesse on again, and he's always good entertainment.
He's entertaining.
Yeah. So we'll kind of hit that for our kind of main topic next week is time management, hunting and habitat work. What makes successful. I will.
Or screenshot it.
Write it down. So, oh boy, Bo says, "Good night, guys. Gotta go search YouTube for all the new gear that came out of the ATA show today. Thanks again."
Huntworth, #1.
Welcome, Bo, anytime. And I will say this: guess what? Ain't about the gear; it's how you use it.
It ain't
about the gear.
It ain't about what kind of gear you're working with. It's how you use it.
That's right, Bo. But yeah, no. Anyway, guys, so thank you all for tuning in. 100 Proof Whitetails. If you like this episode, please let us know. If you're tuning in,
if you hated it, let us know too.
And if you hate it, let us know too. Because
I'm just messing.
Yep. Give us constructive criticism so we do better.
I know. I like constructive criticism.
Constructive criticism, and then I was talking to the guys from Just Hunt, Eric and Sleeman. Probably have them back on at some point because the last episode kind of crashed and burned for us with those guys.
For the time management podcast, you should have your wives on. That's funny.
We're gonna need a babysitter. So, all right, guys. Thank you all for tuning in and keeping the conversation rolling with us. David, Todd, see ya. And everybody who's tuning in, see you guys too. Thank you all for tuning in for 100 Proof Whitetails. We'll catch you all next week down here at the bar with Festa stopping by. And we'll jump right into it, guys.
Festa, his wife, my wife, your wife, all 4 kids. I'm just going to bring them all on.
Yeah. But
look at that.
Nate's over here clicking with the mouse.
All right, I'm ending the show for the first time ever. So yeah.